Welcome to JoyNews Prime with me, Mami Singabiche Thompson. Our headlines tonight: fire destroys 3 dormitories at Labone Senior High School, leaving students displaced and without beds and necessities. Also coming up, EU postpones deforestation law to December 2025, giving Ghana and other cocoa-producing countries more time to comply with regulations.
The European Union is committed to fostering partnership with producing countries to address deforestation and to continue working with partner countries and companies for successful.
Also coming up, Spare Part Dealers Association call on the public to resist attempts of collecting of any new transport fares come Monday, March 7th. Details as the two bodies rubbish the locus of a group transport operators in determining transport fares.
They have an agenda. They want to discredit this government because of the goodwill this particular government is enjoying.
We're your home of independent, fearless, and credible journalism. Stay with us. Fire tore through 3 female dormitories at Labone Senior High School, reducing bank beds and other valuable property to ashes. The blaze, which broke out unexpectedly while students were at prep. Now, firefighters were able to contain the inferno without any casualties. However, the situation has left some female students with no beds. Member of the Fire Service Communications Team, AD01 Alex Kinati, joins us via Zoom for more on this. We're grateful for your time, sir, but what can you tell us about the fire from your preliminary investigations?
Your viewers. So we are preliminary investigation points out to a possible electric fault. We are again subjecting this theory to investigation to be very sure that truly that might be the cause. But for now, I would say it's an investigation. We are treading cautiously with coming out with the cause of.
Well, were there any injuries? What's the extent of damage by the fire?
Well, the extent of damage was quite extensive, but then it's important to point out that the extent of salvage was much greater than the extent of damage. This is because we recorded much more salvage involved. With the damage, out of the lot of rooms of this dormitory, only 3 of these classrooms were deeply affected by the fire. One of the rooms was totally bent. 2 of the rooms were partially bent. And then there were 3 other rooms on the same floor, which was salvaged from the fire, along with about 6 other rooms at the ground floor, which were all salvaged by the fire.
But from the shots we're seeing on our screen right now, it doesn't look safe for the dormitory building in itself. Do we know where the students may be lying tonight, looking at the structure and how it's looking at this moment?
Well, for the top might not be the best, but then per our assessments, the ground floor looks unaffected and can be inhabited by students. And even the other parts of the top floor, which are not affected, can be inhabited by the students. Obviously, the place that got totally bent cannot be inhabited by the students. And so I engaged the teachers and some of the authorities of the school, and they pointed to the fact that they'll be engaging with their leadership and then the district education directorate, so that they'll be able to come up with a way forward, which would be to the benefit of students. So it depends. They might either ask them to go home, or they might probably find ways. Unfortunately, those affected have their uniforms, their books, and other stationary items bent as a result of the fire. So I'm sure they will deliberate and then find a possible way that will be in the best interest of the affected students.
All right. Usually with these kind of fires, investigations, how long will it take for us to really establish the cause of the fire and also come up with recommendations to the school?
Well, it depends on the availability of the clues or the evidence that we'll be able to pick out as a result of these files. So we are subjecting it to investigation. I only want to give a time period to it because our investigations go through thorough checking so that whenever we come up with our investigation, it's conclusive without any issue. So I only want to give a timeline, but let's give ourselves maybe a bit over a month and let's see how it goes.
Right. Thank you so much, ADO Alex Kinate, who is a member of the communications team with the Ghana National Fire Service. Moving on, the European Union's Parliament has postponed the EU Deforestation Regulation, EUDR, to December 2025 to put in place measures for a smooth takeoff. This affords cocoa-producing countries like Ghana more time to ready themselves for the regulation rollout. The EUDR is to ensure that trading entities and organizations demonstrate that their products are deforestation-free and are not linked to forest degradation or illegal harvesting and trade. Elsie Esiedu has brought the following report read to you.
The European Union ambassador to Ghana, Ishad Razali, emphasized the importance of the EUDR in combating global deforestation. He noted that the extension from December 2024 to December 2025 offers a crucial window for preparation of traceability systems from stakeholders to ensure products entering the European market are not tied to deforestation.
The European Union is committed to fostering partnership with producing countries to address deforestation and to continue working with partner countries and companies for successful. As you know, the entry into application of the regulation has been postponed by a year until December 2025, precisely to give room for more in-depth assessments, to give room and space to roll out the famous traceability systems, and as well to adjust some of the policies.
Ghana's cocoa industry is expected to be significantly impacted by these new regulations. Cocoa Board, the country's main cocoa regulator, has pledged to comply with the new standards. Michael Amwa is the Deputy Director of Research and Development at Cocoa Board.
The national system that we put in place is one, first of all, to be able to enable us provide geolocations to our cocoa when we sell them. So we put in a national traceability system called the Ghana Cocoa Traceability System to ensure that every of cocoa we sell comes with the geolocation.
Other agricultural sectors are also taking note. Deputy CEO of the Tree Crop Development Authority, Rich Kofi Kofituo, believes the EUDR is a step in the right direction for promoting sustainable farming practices.
The EUDR is coming out timely because at the end we want to ensure that we carry out sustainable agriculture in Ghana, which is going to affect all crops. I'm sure from this rubber and oil palm, we are going to move into other commodities that are being produced for the EU market, just to ensure that we are able to know where all crops are coming from, and also we are able to produce very quality crops for the market or coming out from Ghana.
As the countdown to the December 2025 deadline continues, Ghanaian farmers and exporters brace for a transformative shift towards sustainability. The hope is that these new measures will strike a balance between environmental responsibility and economic growth. Elsie Esiedu-Kisiedu's report read to you.
And the GPRTU has called on the travelling public to disregard and resist any collection of new transport fares starting tomorrow, Monday, March 7. The call is in response to an early announcement by the Alliance of Drivers of plans to increase transport fares. The group cited rising cost of fuel and spare parts as reason for the increment. Responding to the move, the Spare Part Dealers Association, however, dismissed the justification for the intended clandestine increases in fares. Director of Communications for the Spare Part Dealers, Tichiadu, says the group has no locus in determining fares.
First of all, GPRTU is not aware of what is going on. GPRTU is not part of this group. This group, they are politically motivated group. I spoke to their national PRO. He confirmed to me confirmed to me that they are doing it because of they want to be heard. They want the minister to call them. And because, how can you tell me? Last year, dollar went to 17 cedis. Peppers went up. Now dollar is 15.5, 15.8. So can you say that because dollar is coming down, so means that the peppers need to be increased? No. Peppers rather is coming, the price is coming down rather because the dollar is coming down. And the government has not implemented any tax, has not imposed any tax on peppers or import duty. So how can peppers go up? Meanwhile, they just read budget last week. They're still in the parliament debating. So how can you tell me because of the government did not mention anything or didn't mention any tax on petroleum? It did not mention anything concerning import duty on peppers. So technically, peppers will go up. So we need to use the dollar fare. No, that is not true. So their claim is false, propaganda, mischievous. They have an agenda. They want to discredit this government because of the goodwill this particular government is enjoying. Because of the budget is 90% solid. That's the reason why they are doing this. And we are saying that nobody should listen to them. Just these people, just ignore them because they cannot increase dollar fare. Uses peppers as a yardstick to use the dollar fare. That is not true.
Okay,
the price of peppers is stable. It remains the same. It's unchanged.
That's good because you've issued a statement to resist their plans, but that in itself does not automatically stop their plans. So what do you intend to do to make sure they don't start charging these new fares tomorrow?
I'm just going to treat all Ghanaians, the rank of this. They shouldn't pay any fare because GPRTU is the mother body.
Mr. Techi, wouldn't that be inviting chaos?
No, because it's not going to be any chaos. No, it's not going to be any chaos.
Industrial Relations Officer of GPRTU, Abasimoro, also calls on the public to disregard any notice of transport increment for the so-called Alliance for Drivers.
We are in a country governed by law. I don't think they justify the fact that they owe one or two transport, so they have that authority to come up with any lawyer says that they deem necessary. I don't think they justify that. Nobody should pay more than what they are paying, especially for tomorrow.
Okay, so
my sister, I'm a transport operator. We are looking for money. People are undisputedly. We operate all over the system region. So we don't think there's anybody who needs money more than GPRT. But we have to do it in accordance with a very better understanding. How do we do that? We meet with the Transport Ministry, who, of course, defend the general public. Explain to them, this has changed, this has changed, this has changed. So we are moving from here to this place. They also defend the general public. At times, they will also say, oh, but this has been there for a long time. We know it has changed, but this or that. So we are pleading, let's do it this way. Finally, we come to a very good conclusion before sensitizing the general public. We don't allow any individual who owe a car to come up with any. But if not, then you, the one that you are interviewing me, if you have two vehicles, you tell your driver, change your fare tomorrow. Another person has car. You also tell the driver, to change your. That is not the way we do it.
We're asking Ghanaians to ignore any proposed increments tomorrow and pay the usual fares they are paying. Just to wrap.
Yes.
Now, the Minister of Trade, Agribusiness and Industry, Elizabeth Ofori-Atta, has begun an engagement with artisans at Swami Magazine over government's decision to reverse the ban on importation of salvage vehicles. Anas Abid has more.
In her first field visit to the Kumasi Magazine since taking office, Ghana's Minister of Trade, Agribusiness and Industry, Elizabeth Ofori-Atta, stepped into the heart of Kumasi's bustling automotive hub, the iconic Kumasi Magazine, with a message of transformation. Together with the Ashanti Regional Minister, the visit sparked dialogue about reviving Ghana's artisan economy through a controversial yet pivotal policy shift, lifting the ban on salvaged vehicle imports.
It will be recalled that during the campaign season, Excellency John Dramani Mahama promised the people of Kokompe, Kumasi Magazine, as well as Aboso Kain, to remove the law on salvage vehicles. What I need to do is to do stakeholder consultation pursuant to the amendment of the said law. And so I've started in Accra. I did with the automobiles in Accra, the dealers in brand new cars, the assemblers, and then second-hand car dealers in Accra. So today I'm in Kumasi to also talk to the people of Swami Magazine. They are excited that Excellency John Dramani Mahama is walking the talk like you always do.
The minister's visit comes amid heated debates over the government's plan to reverse a 2020 ban on importing accident-damaged vehicles, a policy initially aimed at curbing environmental harm and road safety risks. But for the thousands who work here, the ban stifled their lifeline, affordable raw materials to refurbish and resell.
Very soon, I'll go to Kokompe. Once that is done, I'll have finished the stakeholder consultation pursuant to the removal of the law on salvage vehicles. Once that is done, we'll go to Parliament to ensure that the amendment is done safely. I'm excited that they are happy. Excellency John Dramani Mahama promised that within 120 days of assumption of office, he will start. But I'm very sure that we are even finishing within the 120 days. And so that is good. But once they found me here, a series of questions have been asked and I've answered them.
From controversy to cautious optimism, this visit marks a new chapter. As the sun sets on Kumasi, the minister's pledge lingers to steer Ghana's artisans' revolution into a brighter, greener year.
They've asked a couple of things, and I'm sure by the next time when I come here, together with the regional minister, especially looking for spaces to do their work, they also spoke about foundry, and I'm going to discuss all these with Excellency John Dramani Mahama to see how best we can position Kumasi Swami Magazine to discharge their mandate.
The minister also emphasized the relevance of the services rendered by artisans here and noted that there is a need for support from policymakers.
The services they render to the country, the jobs they create, and the market they have here, I think is awesome, and we need to assist them to do their businesses very well. They're even into foundry, and so I'm sure that all these will help the country if we assist them properly.
She also paid a courtesy call to the Manshia Palace to extend warm wishes as well as share her mission with the Asantehene His Majesty Otumfuo Osei-Tutu II before meeting with the leadership of the Muslim community at the Kumasi Central Mosque, where she donated some food items to aid them observe the holy month of Ramadan. Anna Sabit, Joy News, Kumasi.
The West African Action Network on Small Arms has observed a weak regulatory regime for small arms and light weapons is festering the proliferation of arms among legal miners in Ghana. Security swoops as illegal mining sites have often led to the retrieval of arms and ammunition used for the protection of their illegal activities. Network President Ken Kinney says the Arms and Ammunition Act 1962 cannot effectively check gun culture, which is on the rise. Nanaya Ojima reports.
Illegal gold mining continues to wreak havoc on the environment despite government's attempt to halt operations of illegal miners. In their bid to be protected against public intrusion and robbery, Galamsey Mine Securities, mostly thugs, often arm themselves with small arms. In some instances, journalists and other public interest advocates researching into dangers posed by the illegality are threatened with these arms. Environmental journalist Erastus Asaridonko is a victim.
In 2018, when a government task force I was with raided the Pamplama Forest Reserve, the Chinese who were mining there illegally had over 15 brand new pump-action rifles with ammunition enough to last for like a month. When we were attacked recently at Asenanyo, close to Mansonkrai, the over 15 heavily built men who accosted us and took custody of us were holding all manner of rifles, AK-47, pump-action, and other assault rifles, different types.
The United Nations estimate about 875 million small arms in the world, one for every 10 people on Earth. At least 59% of arms are in the hands of civilians, with at least 10 billion ammunitions being manufactured annually. Ken Kenne says their findings are pointing to high use of arms among illegal miners.
We have found that most of the galamsey sites have a lot of arms because they know they are doing an illegal thing, and therefore they are interested in protecting their property. And it's difficult to get to them if there is really no rules or there's no regulation.
The law, which is silent on ammunition, puts no limit to the number of arms that could be owned by an individual. Other aspects like licensing and ownership remain weak despite increasing gun culture. Mr. Kinney says a new legislation to regulate access and handling of arms, when passed to law, could help deal with the situation.
The galamsey activities are really linked to arms because they want to protect what they are putting it there. So the bill will be able to make sure that it regulates anybody who owns or who wants to own arms and the quantity of arms civilians can handle.
Ghana's arms legislation is identified as one of the weakest legislations that does not prevent money laundering for the financing of terrorism. Though the country has signed and ratified over 10 different gun control instruments, domesticating the laws remain a challenge. Erastus Asaridonko is worried about the security threats posed to mining communities.
The crime on the Manso stretch, Manso Dubia, Manson crime stretch, the highway robberies. That's where a bullion van was attacked recently with AK-47 and pump-action assault rifles.
Nanaya, with that report, and that's how we draw the curtain on this evening's news. I am Amisi Nyamiche Thompson. There's more news on my JoyOnline.com.